Exercise Talisman Saber 05 is the first in a new series of combined exercises between the US and Australian Joint Forces, and it takes over from previous exercises of the Crocodile series and the Tandem Thrust series. The Talisman Saber series of exercises will now be conducted every 2 years. Talisman Saber 05 involves about 17,000 forces, 11,000 US forces and 6,000 Australians. It involves maritime exercises in the Coral Sea and the Shoalwater Bay military training area, and special force exercises in the high range training area outside of Townsville.
Talisman Saber 05 is really an extraordinary opportunity for our forces to deploy to another country and have an opportunity to interoperate and work with what is a major partner for us here in the Pacific, the Australians. It also, as an air component, gives us the opportunity to interact with multiple levels of higher headquarters to ensure that we can follow the processes and conduct the operations that we would conduct in a major theater operation such as Talisman Saber 05 simulates.
It's designed to stress both of our militaries and both of our political systems so that in the military chain of command we are going up chain through the appropriate authorities. In my case, the military decisions end up going back to the Pacific Command in Hawaii, up through my couple of bosses that are en route to that, and then in the case of the Aussies it's the same thing. They end up ultimately with decision, and then further from that we'll have guidance, if you will, that'll come from Washington D.C. From the civilian part of our government that'll be telling military guys this is what we want you to do. Same thing's happening all the way back to Canberra for the Aussie forces, and then in the meantime we've got this combined effort. So everybody's working it together. It's a great exercise.
What we'll see with this exercise is the ability of the American and Australian forces to work together. The naval forces, the air forces and the land forces, along with our special forces, a very good exercise for us. It tests us. It also allows us to work at the higher end. So we're pretty impressed with the way this has started.
The opportunity to be able to conduct a joint exercise is essential given today's environment throughout the world. So probably more so the resources that come from a combined exercise gives us the variety to be able to work with other forces from around the country, from around the world, and really explore the possibilities of what we can do in a combined unit, a combined nation team.
It's my experience that we can share the professionalism that we each have to bond us better. As I said, we have a great heritage of being side by side, not only in operations, but on many exercises, and we really are able to learn to work together to form coherent combined forces, and we both benefit from that. We think it's a great thing.
Stand by! Firing!
Gun set rep for engaging a HE, a linear regimental target. HE M739, quick charge 4. Number 1, load. Fire! Number 3, end of mission.
Exercise is going well. We've been in Shoalwater Bay here now for about a week. We've conducted lots of training and rehearsals, and the boys are looking sharp and doing all the right things, so I'm extremely pleased.
I've been very impressed with the enthusiasm and the motivation and the talent of all the forces here, U.S., Australian, and I see very little difference other than the knowledge and the perspective that each brings to the table. But in terms of the willingness to dig in and get the job done, I've seen no difference at all. And it's been a very high level of support and cooperation. I think there's a tremendous amount of goodwill in the hearts and the minds of the people to make it work, whatever it takes. And it's been very pleasant to see that. It's exceeded my expectations in a number of areas.
Some of the initial feeds we're receiving from 1 Brigade, which is our mechanised brigade. It's been a very successful operation. We kicked some good goals, as the saying goes in Australian. Last night we provided some very worthwhile intelligence, which resulted in the brigade commander changing his plan somewhat. So overall I think it's been a very successful operation.
The hardest part of doing what we're doing here is probably the diverse nature of tasks and the separated AO of different platoons trying to achieve different things at the same time. And combined with that is the inherent difficulties of communications. When we've got different groups doing different things over long distances, communications probably comes down to being one of the most important things that the commander's got to resolve.
I think there's certainly been some good teaching points on both sides. Certainly there are things that both sides will develop, certainly working together to get that cohesion, working with different nationalities has certainly been an interesting aspect to observe.
To see the coordination and the synchronisation of these forces, right from command and control down to squad level, where we've showing and demonstrating very clearly that we can work together.
exercise. It's enabled myself personally to work with the Americans on a large scale activity. It's also been good for my soldiers who have got to see how the Americans do things, and it also gets them to work with other Australian Special Forces soldiers that they wouldn't normally work with.
Overall, I think it was a great experience for the soldiers and for all of us to get to work with different countries, get to work with different units, and get a feel for another country here. So I think it was a good experience. There are ups and downs, but in the end, I think everyone had a good time, had fun with, especially working with soldiers from other units. I think that was the biggest plus for us.
These exercises are very important. You know, as you're probably well aware, Australia and America have a great military history. We're currently serving in operations together in Iraq, and you know, hopefully in the not too distant future, Afghanistan again. And I think these exercises are very important, both at the soldier level and the very upper echelons level, that we continue to do these exercises so we can work in a good environment. And you know, who knows what the future may bring. We've got to make sure that we work side by side so we can, if we have got to go on major operations at any time, we can do it successfully very easily.